in terms of mental space, clarity, really connecting. It's connect time for us.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge deal, and I think that I would recommend it to anybody. Plus, my worldview is use it or lose it.
It definitely gives you a change of perspective, whether it's, family or something you were thinking about, or work, which it is for me. That portion of my day is very important.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
One of the discoveries that we've made over the years, you and I think very differently. Mm-hmm. I'm, as you would describe, an extrovert, and you, as you would probably self-admit, you are an introvert.
Absolutely.
I'm happiest being seen and seeing things and people move autonomously. You are happiest
behind the scenes,
in the house, or in the drive-thru at Starbucks.
Yeah, I'm not trying to go into Starbucks if I can help it. There's no reason for me to get out.
One of the things that I think has been a very welcome innovation in our day has been daily walks.
Yeah.
We've done daily walks. We've gone to the gym together. We have done bike riding. So there's kind of a duality there. There's like exercise is a priority because it's a huge priority for me. And even when we go to the gym, we don't work out together. We're just at the gym at the same time. Mm-hmm. But I think in all those different ways of exercise and, prioritizing movement, the walk is unique. And you want to talk about why it's unique?
It's a way of kind of downloading what's going on. We've done it different times of day. We've done it in the morning, which is typically what we do. We've done it sometimes in the afternoon because, if work, like if I sit down to work, it's like a landslide. It's going to take a while before I can actually get up. And so depending on what time of day we walk, there'll be this download of information happening, whether it's everything that's going on in my day, the things I'm frustrated with, or the things I'm working on, or whatever's going on in the house with the boys. Mm-hmm. But that's our time to kind of download with each other in terms of what we're doing, what we're working on, what we need to work on, if we're going somewhere, all that.
Yeah. That was an unplanned thing.
Absolutely.
It started off as we've been off from regular daily exercise for a while. What's the on-ramp look like? And the easiest on-ramp was going for this walk around the neighborhood, which is 2.5 miles. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing about it is sometimes the walk is silent, or 60% of the walk could be silent. Mm-hmm. There's no pressure to talk. I don't think there's any resistance to listening. I don't think I've ever felt like my silence is being, because she just won't stop
invading
talking.
My silence. Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes I don't have anything to talk about, or I do have a lot to talk about, but I need to have the conversation in my head first. And this is the time when I'm not looking at a screen. Yeah. How do you feel about it? You have the same experience?
I totally agree, because there are just some times when I need to walk away from the screens or my computer, something I'm working on, and I need to put it in the background. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because sometimes I will walk away thinking I'm going to let that go. I'm just going to walk. Or even better, I'm going to think about it on the walk, right? Mm-hmm. And so as we're walking, sometimes I find that I didn't think about it at all. And that actually allowed me to come back, see things with fresh eyes, and start over, or, begin this idea that hit me as I sat down. So, either way, it's kind of this cleansing that happens, whether I need to download and get it out of my head, or I need to just walk away and brainstorm. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that happens, or then you have the time where you actually mean to be thinking about it and working on it in your head while you're walking, but you actually don't at all. And, the flood of ideas come after the walk.
Right. What are some things, if there's even anything that you experience on the walk that I don't know about? Is there anything that you think is unique to your experience on the walk that I might not even have?
Not that I can think of, other than it just being, I consider it kind of a, for lack of a better word, cleansing. Mm-hmm. It just allows me that mental space that sometimes I didn't know I needed in order to get back to work and, kind of increase my productivity. In the morning, if we walk in the morning, and a lot of times we do, I find that to be, if we're talking, it's less about work and probably more about, what's going on with the boys, how we're moving them forward or not.
Yeah, and I don't have an answer to that question. It wasn't one of those questions where like you ask because you want your answer out. I don't have one. There's some weird stuff that happens on the walk, weird in a good way. Like so, because we walk the neighborhood, we see recurring beings, and I say beings because it's not really people. We do see recurring people, but we see all the animals.
Yeah,
and it's gone as far as we've named them. There are people who walk their dogs, and we know the dogs, but we don't know the people at all.
Not at all.
There are like you notice, I think from walking it, you notice the different species. You notice like recurring areas that we've seen, like the terror of hunting birds, like these predator birds. There's a hawk that we saw swoop down, and we've seen crows attack other like squirrels and birds and things like that. There's a little puddle. This is ridiculous. There's a little puddle, and in the puddle there's a frog that lives there.
I can picture exactly what you're talking about right now.
There's a retention pond, and somebody put fish in the retention pond, so we have named the fish.
We literally go by that pond every day, and we look for the fish because we used to be able to see them, and we would count them, and we would guess how many fish are we going to see today.
The cool thing about all of that is that though I do have my phone with me, unless it's an emergency, I don't answer it, or like a call I was expecting, I don't answer it. And I carry it because just in case, something at the house happens or whatever, or something somewhere else happens. But it is really unplugged time. Yeah. And it's a solid 45 minutes. It happens most of the year round. Once it gets too cold, I'm not going out there.
Yeah, that's when we go into the gym.
Yeah. But it's really been a thing that has transcended fitness because, quite honestly, it doesn't help me fitness-wise at all.
No.
Right? Like, it's good for walking in terms of like heart health. I feel like, hey, I got a guaranteed amount of money, of time in, just helping my heart. But it's not like,
this is my exercise for the day.
Yeah, it's not intense enough to be exercise for the day. And quite honestly, like for my legs to look and function how I want them to look, I have to squat and deadlift. And like, so just walking, like doing the walk, that don't do it. My knees don't even barely bend on the joint. But in terms of mental space, clarity, really connecting, it's connect time for us.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge deal. And I think that I would recommend it to anybody. Plus, my worldview is use it or lose it. So if you want to be able to walk, you need to continue walking. It needs to be part of your thing, part of your day, part of your life. And that's so important, especially as we've all gone to remote work. We sit at the desk all day. We look at the screen all day. Like our focal length is like 2.5 feet max. Yeah. It's just a good time to be looking 50 feet away, 100 feet away.
I think it's huge. It just allows you the ability to get away. And I think the short change of scenery can really, I don't want to say open doors for you, but it definitely gives you a change of perspective. And you, whether it's, family or something you were thinking about or work, which it is for me, that portion of my day is very important. And it's gotten to the point where we've done it so often that I wake up looking at the weather immediately to see if we can walk or not.
Yep, it's a necessary part of the day for me. And even when I travel, I walk a lot more than I do when I'm at home because typically I'm traveling to cities. I'm not traveling the country anywhere. And then when you travel and you're not here, I probably do it twice as much. Meaning you're not here, I won't go in the morning because my morning I can get a lot done here. But in the evening, I'll go further, and I don't know, maybe it's a walk and a run. I'll go over to the big park, and I'll walk like 1.5 miles, and then I'll sprint. It's a part of my day, and that's on top of whatever else I'll do fitness-wise.
See, that's interesting because I can't. In my mind, I've already walked away from that. Like that is too much of a time commitment. It's the drive there, it's the walk, and then the run, and then the drive back. In my mind, I'm like, I could have been home, showered, and sitting in front of my computer at that point. So like, the morning walk is a perfect amount of time as well. So like, yes, it is the download, it is the unplug, but it is a timed unplug.
Yeah, you've gotten spoiled. Like your radius is getting smaller and smaller every year. If you can get it done like in the front yard, you'll probably do it in 4 or 5 years. You can be a front yarder. It's ridiculous.
That's funny.
Yeah.